Splyce, LG, P's and B's coming at you right here.
And game one, it was all early game LG. Game two, Splyce had the lead for the majority of it. Game three, well, I guess it goes back to LG if you're going to play that sort of game with it. We'll see how this one plays out. Picks and bans again. More than likely, I expect to see Achilles go to Luminosity again. I still don't think Splyce are going to ban it away.
It's possible. Here's a random question I want to ask you, Hindu Man.
12.
Which team, correct, also, which team won last match?
The last match?
The last game.
The very last game?
Yeah.
Splyce.
What jungler did they pick?
Good point. Naja.
Cyno on Naja.
I thought it was a trick question. That's why I'm like,
no,
where am I going with this?
I'm asking you the very basic stuff here. The Naja for Cyno short, even in a world where Magi's cloak is so obvious, he's able to turn up.
Is he your guy of the season, by the way? Because you every split have a guy of the season that you will not, I call it harp on about, but you're not overdoing it. I'm just like, you will focus on that player and be like, this guy, this dude.
Yeah.
Is Cyno that guy for you this year?
Cyno, I think it's undoubtedly Baskin and
that's everybody, so that doesn't count.
Well, what I was getting at is that Baskin can single-handedly win these games, and shout-outs to everybody on Twitter telling me I'm wrong. When you watch Cyno, he's not able to quite do the super heavy lifting that Baskin does, which, by the way, I think is a brand new thing to Smite. I don't think we've ever seen a talent like Baskin's been performing as. I think Cyno is able to win games the way Adapting wins games for his team, where he does so much heavy lifting that it sets his team up, and then everybody else performs around him. When Cyno gets that Naja, he can be this guy, and the biggest problem for me in the past has been his streakiness and his lack of consistency. If you can bring that here in Season 5, he'll have it. Now I got to recap all the picks and bans.
Yeah, we do. We went off on one.
Agni's the first selection. Achilles and Hachiman go over to LG. Secondary phase is going to be Rama and Cerberus. Before we saw the ban out, both Terra and Giannis for LG will say goodbye to Uller and Athena by way of Splyce. Option over to LG as they finish their first round of picks. They've already gotten their jungler for Weekend and their Clout Hunter, so we'll see Poseidon one more time for keegsmate. Love this draft by LG. Everybody comfortable.
That's pretty good. I wanted to speed with you, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to do it unless it's like that. I could, but I'm like, nah. We'll slow it down for a second or two as the band slow down too and take a peaceful moment to reflect on everything F-Dot just said.
The key point here is that Luminosity are going to be the most comfortable. keegsmate, Clout, and Jungler Weekend would select these picks if they were in blind mode.
I will say Clout, though, this season really has stepped up. Like, he's the best performing hunter for me. Don't know how else. This is the best performing hunter for me this season. Like the actual hunter player himself, yeah. Clout is on fire. Both in EU and North America, I think he's standing out. Him versus Vote right now would be a very fun matchup to watch. I just want to see those two just scrap it out, and we might even get that at LAN. Yeah, if we're super lucky.
Clout's a guy. I've said this before in the past, and Connor, I mean no ill will towards you. Clout's a guy whose biggest enemy is himself. When he's not fully invested in this game, he just doesn't bring it.
I think some of that is down to his teammates too. Like,
sure.
If his teammates aren't on board, he's going to join. He joins
the
party.
Of course. Absolutely. But Season 5, reinvigoration. Weekend has talked about LG being happy with everybody around them, everybody on the same page. And I think that's really helpful for Clout. Sobek and Nemesis here. Picked up for Splyce. What do you want about there, boss?
I'm just like, because Nemesis got all the way down to the last pick for Splyce. Like, it's mental that it went that deep down. I'm surprised it didn't get banned at some point by someone. It's just really surprising. The Fafnir was prioritized over the Nemesis.
Yeah, exactly. I love this Kumbhakarna selection, though, because it's going to limit the attack speed out of Nemesis as well.
See how it plays. Kumba's had a rough season so far. I saw a lot of pros picking this up. Splyce specifically, Aror's been playing a lot of it. I've still not seen it shine yet, though. I've really not seen it shine. Maybe Geno can make it happen if it is in the support role and not going to Kiki.
Game 3, one word. Who wins?
I think it's LG.
That's 3 words. But either way, Splyce versus LG, the rubber match. Toss it over the commentators. It's Mark and it's Michael. Who are they?
Am I going? That was 4 words.
It was too many
Number
words,
one.
for sure.
Number 2, I don't understand this.
Stop giving it attention. Ignore this bit.
Yeah,
it's
my bad.
horrible.
Thank
Finch
you.
and Aggro are here going into Game 2, Splyce. Game 2 is what we're calling
it's Game 3.
Yeah, but I need them to think it's Game 2, apparently, because they can't win Game 3s, Aggro.
I see. You have the Splyce badge. You want your FP. Typical bias caster.
That's all it is, man. We just can't be neutral, but you in chat can. Who do you think's going to win this game? Please vote for me in Mixer poll.
Isn't this telling them not to be neutral at all?
What do you mean?
You just said you could be neutral in chat. Also vote so that you're
No,
not
they can
neutral
decide
at all.
who's going to win on a neutral basis. You know what I mean? They can say, oh, I think from like an objective standpoint that the better team is LG or the better draft was Splyces.
Oh, would you look at that? It's real hi-rez hours already here.
I clearly said a sentence that made sense and Aggro's trolling me, but let's go into game 3 here between LG and Splyce. And already a big grouping comes out from Cyno, Divios, and the rest of the boys on Splyce.
I wonder if there was any sort of temptation from Luminosity to just first pick Rom, right? Like, Splyce makes their first selection, and then Luminosity says, all right, we'll take Achilles and Rom, and then they just stare at CycloneSpin through the internet, and like, what are you going to do about it? You know what I mean? Because he's played it every game so far today. Now, Hachiman has obviously worked out very well. Clout is linked forward from Weekend, but he's all alone here. Best doesn't have his dash, though, and Best, he's toast. Clout
Best ends up getting taken down. Whirlpool too good. Even a couple of taunts coming out as they're able to find the first blood onto the mid laner for Splyce and slow him down early. That's a good target to Best. I mean, when Splyce is on, Best is almost always a part of it.
And that's actually really advantageous for Luminosity because check out their blessings. 3 stacks now for Kiki, 5, 5, and 5 for Weekend, Keegs, and Clout respectively. So all these players have leads now in their stacking of their blessings, and those are all important, man. You get really good benefits from that. Hey, Finch, congratulations, dude. You won the poll.
Yeah, chat agrees that I was correct, so thank you, chat, for helping me out.
Wait, that's not what that says. It says who will win. That has nothing to do with you if you were correct or not.
I have to assume that's what I mean. Clearly, I can't win this game,
Well,
so
I'm
they
not
must
even
have
on
been
there,
voting
so it
Finch
must
to
not have
agree.
been. I don't think so.
Well, no, I mean, you're not an option.
Right. Which
No,
means
you're
it
not.
wasn't
No, I
against
mean,
me.
you are not an option. You, Ryan, at Aggro Bailey are not an option.
I know. There were only 3 options on that poll. We are on the same page.
Going for the invade is Splyce and Duo, and they're going to be meeting up now with Geno and Clout, who don't want to let that one go for free. So it looks like the actual big camp's still going to be there, but they're going to put plenty of free damage here into Geno, who's zoning them away so they can grab this buff. And now they're ready to keep going. Tail Whip brings him in. Sprints come out from both. Root is going to land this time now. It's Cyclone who's in trouble. Dash does a ton of damage. Aegis is not going to be enough. Clout grabs the kill.
I love that play from Luminosity. Geno just says, you can do all the damage you want to me, but Clout's doing damage to the purple buff. And as soon as he hits level 2,
that's the difference.
Splyce goes, uh-oh, and tries to run away, but that upgraded sprint, man, it ends up paying off yet again for LG. They get another kill. Clout 2-0, minute and 20 in.
And if we're on Stack Watch still, after you accurately pointed those out, 19 now for Clout versus 7 for Cyclone. It's only going to get worse. Red buff getting invaded. Speeds forced to be used there by Cyno. The Mez is good, or rather the stun that came out from TheBest is what's going to help them get away, and they're going to be able to make their retreat path.
Did cost Cyno his beads there, though, and this is not a composition you want to lose beads against because Geno can just walk up to you, put you to sleep, and then Keegs can have the crack and read you a bedtime story really, really quickly. That's a tough comp to go into without beads.
Mez comes out onto Aror as he's getting his purple buff invaded right before his very eyes, and this is just a flip of last time. Let Clout do the buff, and all the zoning is going to be done here by Geno, except it's a Kumbhakarna, so he's easily able to do this. Even if he dies, he goes into the Sleepy Time passive. There's not much that's being risked.
Now, Ram does do very well into Kumbha because of that Sleepy Time passive, doesn't get body blocked with those autos. I believe it actually counts for 2 hits on every one of those because of the way Astral Arrows works, just as it does on wards. So Kumbha doesn't have as much safety against the Ram, but certainly enough still that he can become a great annoyance to bring down once he goes into that passive.
Yeah, safer than most other supports doing that same thing, I think it's still fair to say. So, you know, he's playing it very correctly is Geno. As we get to see Kiki, if we can take a sojourn over to the solo lane, playing the Camazotz. We used to see Camazotz a ton, then it fell off a bit, but Kiki bringing it back.
Yeah, I'm still not a huge fan of the Camazotz solo. I think it doesn't bring enough because it brings very little CC. It's just a slow on the 2 that you really have to concern yourself with. And Camazotz to me feels much better as a damage dealer in the jungle, but this is a kind of the character that Kiki likes to play. He likes that Nemesis solo, the assassins that can deal some damage and be quick enough to get away from danger at the same time. It's very similar to what he does a lot.
Blink comes out. Weekend is able to catch Cyno. Whirlpool comes out as well. Cyno uses the shield, but it's already down. They can find a little more damage, but not able to. Best is here and forcing him back. Already level 5. Geno has the Groggy Strike to try and force him away as Aror rotates over. They still want to look for this red buff due Luminosity. Now making the rotation over is Clout, and Cyclone stuck in lane.
That's the big one. Clout being here should be the signal for Splyce to give it up, but I don't know that Aror knows the Hunter is here. Aror gets his dash stopped there by Geno's positioning, and Geno is going to earn himself a kill there. Aror just didn't know that Clout was there or didn't seem to care. Cyclone's got to be the one to make that call. I imagine that he did.
Yeah.
But Aror probably thought he could get out of danger and survive, but good body block by Geno prevents that from happening.
I think the pluck getting stopped is what changed it. Maybe with that pluck still up, Aror feels like he can get out, but once that got stopped, you saw almost immediately Clout came in and they ended up finishing off that kill. All these kills so far, all three of them going onto the duo lane of Luminosity, making things even scarier for Splyce as Clout sits 2-0-1 already, 1-0-2 for Geno.
Yeah, really scary right now if you're on Splyce, because Cyclone just had his best performance in quite some time.
Yeah.
In the duo lane, and now you're like, hey buddy, so you're 0-1, and Clout, who's playing just as well as any Hunter in the world, is he's 2-0-1. Oh, and he's playing Hachiman, kind of the most popular Hunter right now. All right, good luck, have fun. And then you slam the door and run away, and Cyclone's like, oh, okay, I guess I will try to hold my own, but it's going to be a tough task. I mean, Clout backs and has Devo Gloves and Boots 1 done before 5 minutes. That is unheard of.
Yeah, that's scary if you're on the Splyce roster. He's getting those stacks up this early. Cyclone's going to be making it back himself now after getting that wave cleared up, and he should have enough gold to get his own Devourer's Gauntlets, and he does, but not going to have the boot start that's going to help Clout.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. It's actually pretty good that Cyclone's able to get it up that quickly. Pretty solid from him. The fact that he's able to get as many solo waves as he had is really the only reason why he's able to get that Devo Gloves this early.
That's going to help him out a good deal over here in the duo lane, and we'll see if Clout can continue to pressure that lead. Checking back in with Divios, though, who is relatively low, does not have a teleport available to him. Those have both been used by both Divios and Kiki. And you know there's tons of sustain available for the Camazotz, so he's happy to continue trying to bully Divios, who's brought low yet again.
Speaking of low, keegsmate very low, but the Kraken turns it around. Best able to answer back, but he'll trade out his own life for it. Weaken able to bring him down there with that execute. And red buff again goes the way of Luminosity. Cyclone might even need to be careful. Could be a dive potential here. Weaken still has his blink available.
The rest of LG rotating over to this dual lane, Cyclone recognizing it and backing up a good bit. They no longer have Geno over here, so it's just Weaken and Clout that would be looking for this. And Weaken still might be out of view, hiding just around the corner. Cyclone not going to come too far out. Dash is all that's used. Weaken not going to be able to actually find anything, and they back off.
Yeah, that was honestly close to kill potential if Cyclone's 1 or 2 more steps up, because Blink Shield of Achilles into the mounted archery and Heavenly Banner combo from Clout, who still had his ultimate available, is enough damage to get a kill almost at that point in the game. So good heads-up positioning there.
Ultimate comes out. Epic Uppercut is put onto Cyno, who is rooted but is still able to make it out. So the ultimate's down from Geno, but not panicking is Cyno. Really didn't even have the beads available, so instead is able to make it right on out of there without too much trouble.
A little bit of miscommunication there between Geno and Keegs. Geno assumes that Keegs has some more cooldowns than he really did, or that he was trying to force out the beads from Cyno. Keegs without Whirlpool or Kraken there has very, very little kill potential at this stage of the game.
Could be some kill potential for Kiki. Does still have the ultimate available and is forced to use it the moment Slice and Dice lands. Cyno, no, they can't get the kill. He's coming for the real prize. They want to strip away the blue buff as Kiki is forced to back. Geno is on his way over to this, but it is just Geno by himself. Pluck to pull him away. Buff goes down. Successful invade by Cyno.
Kiki has the teleport, though, so he's right back in lane with that Gladiator shield, so plenty of sustain now as on the left-hand side, Clout feels comfortable enough to actually start to proxy because he knows LG's fighting on the right.
Divios already low. The root comes out too, so he's locked in place. A little bit too early with the execute, so it doesn't land, but Keegs is there to provide all the damage they'll need. Kiki also catches Aurora on the backside. 2 kills in that fight. 7 kills total as LG gets off to a blazing start.
Man, I love upgraded sprint with Poseidon. We've already seen it pay dividends on the left for Clout, but upgraded sprint with Poseidon, that you pop that trident, you're zooming because you have extra movement speed because you're tied. You've got the sprint extra movement speed as well, and you hit really hard. That play allowed Aurora to actually fall because of the extra movement speed. Got Kiki around the corner, got Keegs around the corner. Nice crack in the outer ring. Got buffed a while ago. A little bit, you know, evened out the damage between the inner and outer side, and Keegs probably thanking that happened because I don't know if that would have found the kill on Divios otherwise.
Gold Fury now being looked at, and it's being looked at by Splyce. Here is Clout, and I think he's making the rotation over. Kings is here too, but does not have the ultimate. If they go for the steal, it certainly won't be easy. Agni bombs are going to come out to try and take it. Splyce find the Gold Fury, and they make it out with their lives. That's going to cut back into the lead pretty substantially.
That's a risky call, but one I really like. I don't know if I like this one, though. Going for purple buff, weaken on the way. Doesn't have his blink, but able to combat dodge in there and force everybody out. Splyce fortunate to escape with their lives there. That's a calculated risk by Splyce. That's Splyce saying, okay, we are in trouble. We are in danger of losing this game soon. We have to make a play now. And if we get this, then we've got a better chance. If we don't, we are probably going to lose anyways.
Best is rooted and everyone's here. Weekend finds the last hit, but that damage was almost all KikiSoCheeky makes it back out with his life too. And another death for Best in mid, 1-3-0.
Best didn't have the beads last time he went up against Keegs' Poseidon in game 1. Probably wanted him there. This time, probably wanted the Aegis, but you can't against something like a Kumbhakarna. Great play by Geno, understanding how much damage he's going to take underneath that tower, and also understanding that even if he falls, it doesn't matter. He hasn't been forcing that sleepy time passive yet, so he would have just sat underneath that tower, taken a little nap, and then been able to pop up and get out of danger anyways. So love that dive, and great patience by Geno to find the kill.
How good has Geno looked this game, this set in particular? 1-0-7, a part of all these kills that have gone LG's way, and that is not by accident. That's not just him being nearby. He has certainly been setting these up with the mezzes, the epic uppercuts. I mean, all the control that Kumba provides, Geno's making excellent use of it.
You don't get 100% kill participation by accident.
Not
at
all.
You don't stumble into 8 kills for your team 10 minutes in. You got to be the one to make it happen for them a lot of the time, and Geno's done a great job of that. There's no doubt.
Looking to see if maybe they can find a little bit more in duo lane as Geno and Clout have grouped up and are pushing. Weekend, on the other hand, is hanging out in the mid lane where the Best might rotate in. I think he could be rotating into a lot of trouble as Keegs is right there to help, but the dash is available. Best is able to run away. So the tier 1 tower is going to be the call. They pressure it, and Weekend's here too. He's everywhere, it feels like, on the map right now, and you are not safe unless you're under a tower.
Kiki had to use the ultimate defensively on the right as Best needs to be careful at mid here. He's going to meet 2 underneath that tower. No beads for Best, remember, so he's able to dash away. Kiki had to use a teleport to get back again after pressure from Cyno in response to that Nemesis ultimate once more. But that's the strength of Camazotz, man. Ungankable for as long as he has his ultimate up. He gets from the halfway down the lane to underneath his tower and next to his tower with that bat out of hell ultimate.
It might sound like we're bouncing around the map a lot with these calls here too, but that's by design from this LG squad. There's pressure on Kiki over here in the solo lane where the ultimate's getting forced out. Then we're putting pressure everywhere else. Duo is pushed up, mid is pushed up, and they're looking for the Best as well. The same way that it can be a little cluttered here, it's even worse in their comms right now, trying to keep up with where everyone is on the map and how much pressure LG has. They're using it excellently.
Now it's kind of stagnated a little bit though. Splyce has slowed the pace for a little bit longer.
That Gold Fury
going
helped.
down, exactly, and then the Gold Fury stops it, and Luminosity has to take a breath for a moment. Now, 5,000 experience at 12 minutes, scary for Splyce, but they were able to make a great comeback in game 1. Couldn't close it out, but were able to even up and actually get the lead in their favor, so you can't count the squad yet, even if it is a game 3.
Stop telling them.
Even if it is a game 2.
There we go. Oh, that helps.
It's game 3. Don't get confused.
Yeah, don't get confused, chat. We're trying to help Splyce, okay? Chat, it's game 3. Splyce, it's game 2.
Wait, if Splyce is listening to this, then that's cheating. So we shouldn't be trying to talk to them anyways. They would know where everyone is. Well, I'd be like, Geno on the bottom left, and Best is like, yo guys, Geno's on bottom left. I just heard Aggro say it. We shouldn't be trying to talk to them at all. Stop listening, Splyce, if you are, which you aren't, but in case you are. Don't. Why are you giving me that look, Fish?
Looking for more is Weekend here in the jungle.
Just trying to make sure everyone's on the up and up, you know?
You've done a good job of that.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Bit shut down.
No,
Closed.
bit accomplished.
Well, your bit.
Mission accomplished.
Oh, no. Clout doing a little bit of counter wording. This is oppressive over here in the duo lane as Clout continues to pressure CycloneSpin back underneath his tier 1. And look where Weekend is. I mean, Cyclone can't feel comfortable underneath his tier 2 right now, 13 minutes into the game. Weekend waiting to find an opportunity to try and get in, but CycloneSpin playing as safely as you can ask of a player in a situation like this.
Good poke there. It's only about third or so of Cyclone's life that he'll be able to heal up. Actually, back to base to heal up. Thought he was just going to lifesteal it. But that was important timing because Gold Fury's up in 9 seconds. So with Cyclone being forced back, that means that now Clout gets to clear another wave without any sort of pressure. He won't take any poke. And now can be Luminosity who set up shop around the Gold Fury. Gold
Fury is back among us and already under at least the scrutiny of the LG squad. Now they're going to start putting a little damage into it. Cyno's here. CycloneSpin is here as well, so certainly Splyce are going to show up, but it's going to be difficult to make it in. Cyno gets control, drops the ultimate on the Weekend, but Epic Uppercut moves him out. They drop the Gold Fury because Weekend taking more damage I think they bargained for. LG are eventually able to grab it, but Cyclone look for the shots, can't find it. Best is there though. They do at least get the kill, so it's 1-for-0, Gold Fury taken. Aror falls, they'll make it 1-for-1. Continuing to chase down Best on the right-hand side is the rest of the LG squad. Root lands, uses the bomb, but it's not enough. Double kill for Clout. 4-0-1 for the Hunter for LG. 2-1 and the Gold Fury.
Man, not the cleanest Gold Fury pull by any stretch. Luminosity a little waffly on if they were going to commit to it, if we were going to use Kraken to secure it. Somehow it ends up going their way anyways, and then Clout cleans up the fight perfectly, man. His control of that Hachiman ult seems to be nearly second to none. He was able to rotate around that little pillar perfectly in time and knock down Aror and hit the Best at the same time while maintaining the dash to make sure that he can get towards the mid lane where Best tries to escape to. This really just feels like the Clout show right now. It really does.
Clout's having an excellent time for himself here in this game as CycloneSpin's trying to box Kiki. I think he's recognized that this is just not the way, as he ends up falling to the bat. Only time that Geno's not going to be part of a kill this game, I imagine, is because CycloneSpin gets caught just in the wrong spot.
Teleport for Kiki ends up being the difference maker there, and then chased him all the way down from that left side. Also used the blink, it looks like, in order to make sure. Cyclone doesn't use any relics in that situation, but he knows he's dead to rights either way. Ultimate was up for Kiki, so he can't escape. Cyclone didn't have his ultimate up. So I like that decision. Just hold on to the relics. You're not going to get any use out of them in this situation. Just accept that you are dead and move on.
Old squad mates there duking it out. Really a lot of that here in this match. A lot of familiarity between these two squads. So certainly I'm sure no love lost between the two if they find that kill. And this tier 2 tower, I don't know if there's going to be a chance for Splyce to defend this one. Clout has just too much damage. Heavenly Banner providing an extra attack speed. It's close, but they can't quite find it. In fact, Best dashes in aggressively, knows he has Divios and Aror in tow. Epic Uppercut comes out. Matter Archery committed too. A lot of ultimates used as LG trying to make the escape.
Cyno used the beads as well. Divios has that Stygian Torment. Could look for Geno, but decides against it. Kiki, meanwhile, will claim Divios' tier 1. On the right-hand side, 500 gold split across Luminosity now puts them up nearing 7,000.
His gold leads getting to the point where it's really difficult for Splyce to try and fight into it. Right around now, maybe a little bit sooner, is normally when we see the Splyce roster find a way to either turn the game back in their favor or when it seems to start dropping off. But this time, it's been a steady decline for LG. That tier 2 tower in dual lane is still standing, but only just barely. Feels like maybe just 1-2 more autos into it would be enough to finish it at this point. So LG can go claim that at their leisure.
Only 2 kills so far for Splyce, and they're both onto the Best in the mid lane, who's actually stayed pretty close in farm to keegsmate. Only down about a level right now, but just is going to have a hard time finding the same impact in these quick little skirmishes. When you're ahead by this much for Luminosity, you want to get in and get out and force other people to get out very quickly because of the lead that you have. The longer the engagement goes, it can work out in your favor because each rotation of your skills is doing a little bit more, but oftentimes you kind of want that initial burst to put it to be one and done, because then you're healthy enough to continue to push the objectives. And Poseidon just kind of lends himself to that as is. Plus, when all of Luminosity has a lead, it's going to be easy for you to do so.
Wow, they couldn't even find that tier 1 tower. Mounted Archery coming out with sprint in tow. Slow is going to land. Aegis comes out from CycloneSpin, but nowhere near enough. Clout finds that kill too. Cyno is on the retreat path, and he has got to run. Clout taunting a little bit instead of following with the rest of the team, so no way to chase Cyno. Perhaps the call was not to go for it anyway, but certainly Clout was not going to be a part of it, as he was letting CycloneSpin know that I'm winning the lane.
Man, with sprint and mounted archery, Clout was on his way to winning the triple crown. He was going so fast. He caught up so quickly in that lane. Cyclone and Cyno have pretty good mobility on both of their characters, and it still wasn't enough.
Good reference there.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
I liked it.
You know, I dabble in references from time to time.
Occasionally.
I reference stuff.
Is able to find that kill as Clout, and I mean, that's got to be scary, them barreling down that duo lane. CycloneSpin and Cyno, man, they step up a little bit too far trying to find that tier 1 tower. By the way, they don't even get it, and they end up giving up their lives in the process, or at the very least, Cyclone does. Cyno is able to escape. As Kiki continues to duke it out on the solo lane side, man, they cannot stand and box up against this level 20 Camazotz.
Hold on. What?
Yeah.
How is Kiki level 20? I mean, his player damage is just astronomical right now.
It's absurd.
Clout has been killing everybody,
Comical.
and it's still doubling what Clout has at this point in the game. But the farm has just been incredible. Kiki level 20 right now is just silly. Now, look out. Splyce realizes they can't go for gold, so may try for fire. No, decided they're too far behind to even try that, and Luminosity was on the way anyways. Kiki blinking over just for safety.
Counter warding, making sure they're the ones with vision control of the Fire Giant. They might be trying to collapse now onto Divios as they've got Geno coming to the backside, able to jump up, but not going to be able to avoid the epic uppercut, and there's all the damage you could ask for to follow it up. Stygian Torment to avoid getting controlled, but it was a futile effort. Divios ends up falling. And now with all 5 members here, LG have a chance if they wanted to go for this Fire Giant. They will. They got this pulled. On the way over is Aror to try and contest it, but getting zoned away by Keegs of all people. Geno now is the one that's coming over to try and stop this as well. They're not burning through this Fire Giant as fast as you might expect. Only at half health, but no one except for really Aror is trying to stop it.
Aror is lurking in the waters, but is he going to come in? Best does find a weaken. Aror trying to seal it away, but Kraken will gobble up the dial and the Fire Giant at the same time. At least Splyce get 1 kill. Weaken zoning a little bit too hard.
This is good.
Cyclone gets a tier 2 and that tier 1 that they weakened earlier on the left, so that is good for Splyce. And that's not often that you say that after losing 1 and losing the Fire Giant, but 500 gold in mid, 2,000 gold in left, so even being down 9,900, now 10,000 gold in Luminosity's favor, that could have been worse. It could have been an extra 2,000 gold. So Splyce at least gets something off the map.
It's also some map pressure they've cleared up. We've seen some of these lingering towers really shape the way the late game goes. And I'm talking about late. Like if they win a team fight and they have a chance maybe to make a final push 20 minutes from now or something, this stuff already being down, it always just helps because who knows when Splyce is going to have a chance to be on that side of the map again, because right now it's looking like LG are the ones in the driver's seat. So getting anything you can in that window can always help later on.
Without a doubt. It's one of those calls where you're sitting under Phoenix, you're kind of waiting for everyone to come in, and you're looking at the mini-map and you say, all right, well, we haven't even exposed the Phoenix yet, so we realistically need to win probably 2 to 3 team fights cleanly at this point if we want to win. Now with at least a Phoenix exposed, if we can push this game to 45, 50 minutes, get a team wipe, we've got a win condition on the board already. So that's a good sign for Splyce.
The rest of Luminosity, though, is going to group in. Now, I want to see if we got a moment here to try and talk about this build from Weekend. He's gone purely, or rather defensive on the last half of his build, trusting in the damage from Clout and even from Kiki, who's itemized into some good damage himself. Yeah,
it's because Kiki's so far ahead, he can itemize into some damage, allow Weekend to transition into that more tanky initiator role that he's done so well with in his career. Plus, he uses the damage when Achilles can utilize it and be that damaging guy as Divios.
Is Divios done already? He drops back in. They don't find the last hit, but he's very low. Well, Kiki is going to find that last hit that they need. Geno is on the escape path right now as he has the Nemesis ult, but sleepy time is enough to keep him alive. Aurora is lurking in the waters, but he's going to come back out to find he doesn't like what's waiting on the surface. The rest of Luminosity turn their attention back towards the Phoenix.
That'll go down without another scratch for Luminosity. Could even head towards mid here, but right tier 2 is probably the safer option, just because Divios will be up in a little bit, but will have teleport whenever he's available. So don't mind the idea for LG to back, spend some gold. They've got some power items they wanted to complete. Looking like a Mantle of Discord is almost done for Weekend. He can't quite finish that off. Kiki should be able to sell that Warrior's Blessing and pick up at least tier 2, if not a full item in that 6th item slot. Keegsmate was able to finish off that Ethereal Staff. Clout throwing in a little spicy crit towards the end of the build, a 6th item Wind Demon to go along with his chin size. This is basically, in my mind, Clout just kind of flexing and going, it doesn't really matter what I build, dude. I'm just going to kill him anyways, and I'll be honest with you, Finch, he's not wrong.
No, he is certainly correct. 6-0-3 right now for Clout. But you heard me say it earlier, and I'm going to keep singing the praises right now of Geno on this Kumbhakarna. I told you the only kill he's going to miss out on all game long, or at least at this point, is that one time Cyclone got soloed. Other than that, Geno has been there, and he has been the catalyst for what the rest of this team is doing. Epic Uppercut was what helped confirm Divios, and they're going to keep it going over here in solo.
Aror has the Magi's Cloak and will toss Geno back underneath that Phoenix and loses bubble forward. Right-hand side, Cyno's already in onto keegsmate. Has used the Nemesis ultimate. Keegs' Kraken is down, and so is he. Weekend, though, will answer back onto the best. Cyno brought down because Clout is truly unstoppable as Weekend kills Cyclone in his own fountain.
Can't even make it back in. Double kill comes out. Clout now finds yet another kill for himself. Phoenix on the right-hand side falls as well. It has been reduced to rubble, and even without Keegs, Luminosity have plenty of damage in the form of Kiki and Clout. Even put out a little bit of global emotes as only Aror still stands, lurking in the waters. That's not going to be enough to save you. They find the last hits that they need. Weekend gets it, and with a full-blown deicide, LG put it into Splyce, who still cannot find another set victory. LG still looking good.
Well, as we said, Splyce can get to game 3. They just can't quite seem to close the gap. And as we said for Luminosity, they needed to win every game to have any hope. I don't even know if they do mathematically, but you want to make sure you're beating these teams that you're supposed to beat.
Yeah.
Is Splyce one of those? Who knows, man? You never know. Splyce feels like they can beat anyone on every given day. And game
at least once, for sure.
1 or 2, you're in trouble against Splyce. Game 3, all good.
Apparently it is. Apparently game 3 is not really that much of a trouble if you're the team playing up against Splyce, but I mean, man, did LG look good in that last set. Cloud and Geno in particular, for me, look strong. But we want to know.
Kiki as well, man.
Oh, Kiki too? Yeah, you're certainly right to give him some credit there, but who's the MVP for you all in Mix or Chat? You're the ones that get to vote. Let us know in the poll.
Yeah, I think any of those 3 are fine choices. Geno played great on the Kumbhakarna. Clout obviously played phenomenal with a scoreline like that, and Kiki's damage was disgusting. And was
That's
just
the term
all
for
over the
it.
place. Yeah, that was the best word that popped into my mind.
It was ridiculous. It was comical. It didn't make any sense. Kiki was able to just farm over there on the solo lane freely that whole time. But let's go ahead and get everything broken down. Aggro, let's get it back over to the desk.
Hey, today's April 20th. SPL happened, and here's what. Listen, there's just about 15 minutes left in the day, so we're going to close this one out with the recap so we can kind of double dip, and I've got a couple of things to do anyway. But today, we started off with the first match, and that was going to be Splyce taking on Trifecta. This was actually a ton of fun to watch, and I implore you to watch the VOD. These guys stretched out to 3 games. Everybody looked really, really good. Trifecta do wind up being the victor here, but it was just fun to watch. Seriously, just rewind. After the VOD's done, we'll shut it off, and you could rewind and go watch it yourself. LG versus Baskin. Sure, people have been yelling at me and saying that Aquarius is doing a good job, and he was. And everybody was doing a good job, but this was just Baskin's game. He played Apollo mid, and he came through, and he embarrassed everybody. So it was really fun to watch. Shouts to Baskin. Game 3, I'll give a little bit more of credence. LG and Splyce stretch it out to 3. Clout does earn the MVP. The artist formerly known as Vedium turns up and makes everybody just second guess not banning Hachiman. Seriously? You're still letting him play this character? I don't know what to say to you about that one. 15 minutes left on today's holiday, so I'm going to get out of here. Let's see if my producer can keep up with me, because that's it for Day 4, Week 5, Split 1, Season 5.